you should abandon your family and your wife so you can take all your time to yourself.
This is how we come on the internet. You should abandon your wife and family so you could be on your own.
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome to the internet.
Hello. Well,
I did the thing on my own for a while. It was all right.
yeah. You had so much more time. You could go places.
I did.
and do
I
things.
played a lot more video games.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, friend.
Yeah. So get
Hey.
rid of your wife
Hey,
so
Internet.
you can have fun again.
Yes. You choose wife or you choose video games.
Right.
You cannot have both.
You chose poorly. I kid. Your wife is nice.
Yeah, she's all right. She hasn't killed me yet, so
I mean,
there's that.
if that's your only criteria, then yes, she's doing
Yeah, then
outstanding.
I'm doing well with a lot of women. Literally none of them have killed me yet.
Yeah.
So, I figure I'm doing all right. Jen's come the closest, I'll say that.
Well, she's spent the most time with you, so it only
Yeah,
stands to
it's a
reason.
law of averages. The longer you spend with someone, the more chance that they will kill you.
Yeah, I think,
Familiarity breeds contempt, they say.
yeah. I think that's Moore's law. Like, you're more likely to get killed by your spouse over time.
So that's what the cops, man. Doesn't matter. Spouse is the first suspect.
All right, I should open up the chat. I mean, I don't know if
Yeah.
anyone's chatting or anything
I
yet.
should, yeah.
What up, chat?
I see the thing popped up.
Chickadee chat.
We could yell at the chat like Twitch people do. How about that, chat?
But, whoa.
You see that move, chat?
Clip it. Clip it. Clip it.
How about that,
Hey,
chat?
hey,
There we go.
hey.
Yeah.
Clip it.
Boy, that was
That
eerily accurate.
That was fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I couldn't like get to the pause button.
Oh, hey,
at
chat.
all.
Yeah, it's Robert and Steven.
Hey, Robert. Oh, we waited a little later. It was after 8, so Robert could join us.
Biggity Bob. Stiggity Steve.
Hello, gentlemen. Man.
What up, gamers? It's ya boys. Back on the internet.
Holler? Do people still holler at one's boys?
Oh, I mean, holla at your boy, sure.
Oh, sorry, I said holler. I did the hard R. Sorry.
Yeah, you can't go hard R, especially not during Blaxploitation
Yeah.
History Month.
You can only do that if you're whooping and hollering.
Or down in the holler.
I was gonna say you can also be down in the
yeah,
holler.
yeah.
This is true.
Oh, hey.
Oh,
playing
sorry.
little footsies there.
Yep.
Sorry, I was.
Yeah, you
I
were
was
kind of
macking.
encroaching on my territory
I was.
here. This aggression will not stand.
Oh, look, I got an email from YouTube.
Oh, you did? Did
Hi-
it say that
hi,
we're
YouTube.
online?
Yes, it said that someone is live on our channel, and it
Oh.
is us.
Hi there,
Well,
YouTube. What are you wearing?
Yeah, let me verify.
Oh God.
Hey, chat.
Put on more YouTube, please. Put on more.
Suck down all your bandwidth.
So I got a. I told you guys that I met my team for the new job this morning, but when my boss sent me the email, just to check because I don't I don't really know how things go down at this joint yet. I was like, hey, by the way, is there a dress code? Like, I know everybody's work from home, but some places are dicks about stuff. And he's like, nope, you can pretty much wear whatever. T-shirts are fine, pants optional. And I was like, my kind of dude.
It's my kind of place. Pants
Yeah.
optional.
I mean, that's fine as long as you're sitting still for your Zoom. I mean,
Yes. Yeah. I did put on pants just in case.
sure.
Just in case. They
It's
were
a good
It's
idea.
always
Yeah.
they were pajama pants, but I did have dick coverings. I wasn't I wasn't Donald Duck in it.
Yeah. Winnie the Pooh.
Mm-hmm.
Was it shirt cocking?
Shirt cocking, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get to do that anymore either.
You got to do that
shirt
today.
cocking.
Yeah. I got a wife now.
I mean, she's probably immune to seeing your genitalia.
Yeah, you're probably right. That makes sense. I'm kind of sick of seeing it too, so,
Yeah, fair enough. You've been with it a while.
Yeah. God, I have 40-something years. I don't even know how old I am anymore.
You're 43.
I'm 14 leagues.
You're 70
Yeah.
stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how many stone I weigh. What is?
If you weighed 70 stone, you'd be
be
like
huge, yeah.
like the whale.
That's like
No, that's
700
even-
and
Because isn't like a normal person like 10 stone or something like that?
Yeah, like 3 or 4 stone. It's like most people are like not much, I don't think.
All right.
Yeah.
Dr. Google.
yeah.
Ask Dr. Google.
how many libs is in a stone? 14 pounds to the stone.
Ooh, Chuck's there. What's he
So
talking
yes,
about? No
if you were
tubing.
70 stone, I'm just saying you would be
Wait, how much is? I'm sorry. What is a stone?
14 pounds
Is
is
14 even?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 10 stone. That's a little person. No, not like that's a smaller
Yeah.
person. I shouldn't
That's
say.
I mean that's a a normal sized lady.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a healthy person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So let's see, 14 stone.
so you're like 20 stone.
No,
Because you're all beef.
I topped out at 16 stone. It's a lot of stone.
Wait, 16. Yeah, I can't do that math in my head.
16 stone. What do you
What do
get?
you get?
Another day older and fatter in the gut.
He
Wait,
drops
no, is that-
2 stone prepping for train spotting. I Gav. Where did he drop those 2 stones? Hopefully not on his toe.
That was his role for Raging Horse. Heroin movie.
Mm.
He lost a lot of weight.
Okay.
Did you ever see Train Spotting 2?
No, I still haven't yet. I need to.
Did Danny Boyle still made that, right?
Mm-hmm. That was their peace offering. They had hashtag weird beef for many years. He and Ewan,
Yeah.
and then they both realized they actually didn't really have a beef at all, and they were like, "Yeah, we should be friends again." I don't know. They both like thought they got more famous than the other or something, and didn't need each other or some dumb shit, and they were like, "Wait, what? We're friends." And so they made
Yeah.
Train Spotting too.
Aw.
Well, that's good.
But then they made Yesterday, and that fucking sucks ass.
Was Ewan in that one too?
No, I'm just saying
Oh, okay.
Danny Boyle made that.
Yeah, I was gonna say Danny Boyle has
I know
been
he's
good for a while.
He's a all over the place director. He always has been. That's what
Was
I like about
yesterday
him.
the Beatles thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, he's so like he never makes. I mean, other than a Train Spotting sequel, none of his movies are. I would even say almost in the same genre.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll give him credit. He doesn't repeat himself.
yeah, I mean, he made this fucking Steve Jobs movie, right? I'm just saying, it's like yeah,
One of them.
yeah. I think he made the big one, the one that was written by the Aaron Sorkin and the guy who wrote the book or whatever.
Mm. I've read a book.
Yeah, whatever the big fat Steve Jobs biography book was.
Oh,
Well, Stevenson, somebody, something like that. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
Sheldrake is a banger. I would say Life Less Ordinary is a very slept on movie.
I was gonna say I didn't mind it.
I love that movie. It's weird and bizarre, and I like it.
Got a good soundtrack too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Delroy Lindo and Holly Hunter running around being weird misfit hunter hitmen or angel hitmen. It's like I don't
Yeah.
know. It's all
Yeah, that
good.
movie makes no sense.
Yeah.
but it's enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
It's enjoyable nonsense. Nonsense with style.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm about. Except for Babylon. That was lots of nonsense with style.
Just nonsense, no style.
Yeah.
Oh.
No,
still had
too much style. All style. No,
All
no,
style. Too
no,
much
no sense.
nonsense. Mm.
Not even non. Just no sense.
Oh man.
I'll take nonsense, but I need some kind of sense. There might have been some incense.
Mm. You know, it was weird. I tried to review like what I had watched in the past year.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched shit. I've become such a like lazy movie watcher. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really bring up like Golden Jocks or anything because I just assumed I was the only one that's watched any movie from last year. So
Yeah, I'm really bad.
I mean,
I
was
think I
like-
watched one movie.
I was
last
like,
year.
it's just all right. Violent Night, we're done. Bye.
Yeah,
you
people
know.
can text me. They're like, "Did you see Iron Man yet?" And I'm like, "I haven't watched Wakanda Forever yet, or She-Hulk,
Iron Man. Oh, Ant Man. You mean?
or yeah,
yeah.
Ant-Man.
I
Yeah,
was like,
same
you threw me
thing.
there. I was like,
Same thing.
Well,
Yeah,
you
I
threw me
haven't
off
seen
because like Ironheart is in Wakanda, and I was like,
yeah.
what?
My understanding of that is they could have just cut her out and put that as the first episode of
Oh yeah, that
her
was
own TV show or
completely
whatever.
I mean,
and
that's my problem. Is like everything's being shoehorned at that point. And at this point, it's just like, all right, got to put a tab here so it connects to this page on the Choose Your Own Adventure, and just anytime.
Or it's like we can't give her own show without having introduced her in a movie at some point, and it's like you could actually.
Yeah, I mean, but Kamala Khan says otherwise.
Yeah, same with She-Hulk.
Yeah, well, is she jumping to the screen?
Hmm?
I mean, Kamala Khan is like jumping straight. I mean, the next time,
Yeah.
I think the Marvels
That's
is
like
going to be out
November.
before Ms. Marvel season 2 will be out. I'm saying, so
Yes,
it's like
it
that's
will.
a fast jump. I mean, if She-Hulk's jumping to the screen, great. I mean, I want more She-Hulk show because that show was
I
great.
think they're keeping that.
Good. I
TV.
mean, that's fine. However it exists, put more of it
Yeah.
into my eye sockets. Because that's the vibe I want on my Marvel TV shows.
Understandable. Man, guy who made Palm Springs hasn't made anything since then. Or really before.
So you think
That
he
was
dead.
like 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2020.
Oh, Palm Springs has been around
3
for
years ago.
at least
3 years.
80 years.
Because I would like to see something else that person makes. Ooh, 2 movies in post-production. How about you finish one of them?
So I have an internet quandary while we're killing time. I'll pose this to the people out there in the
Yeah.
in the chat.
Throw it to the
so
chat.
I need advice whether I should continue watching people's movies either forward or back. I have 2 examples. So, okay, I'll start with the positive. So I like most everybody loved Everything Everywhere All at Once. And then I was like, cool, what else do they make? And I went and watched Swiss Army Man, and I hated myself for that. Or at least I hated them for making it. And they have more movies, and should I bother continuing back down their path, or was this just like their one good movie that they're ever going to make, or maybe they've righted their ways and they're going to make good movies from now on? I don't know. And the other one is I watched Hereditary and hated it. Should I watch Midsommar? And I want to know, like, if I have these opinions, like if I hated Swiss Army Man and
What do you think of Florence Pugh?
Well, that's one of the reasons. I mean, that's almost the only reason I would want to watch Midsommar at this point, because that's how much I didn't like Hereditary. So, I mean, like the fact that I've liked her and everything else I've seen her in makes me want to go watch Midsommar. But honestly, that's like, yeah.
Midsummer, from what I've heard, is fairly polarizing.
Okay.
So, I would suggest you watch it so that you
Form
can
my own
come down on one side of it. Or
Chuck
the
has
other.
said you should not watch Midsummer.
Okay. If I didn't like Hereditary, I mean, I figured it's probably a similar vibe. I don't know. It can't use the trope that pissed me off so much about Hereditary again. So I mean, I don't think that would be part of it.
I should watch some of these movies. Just be like, hey.
I mean,
I'm
there's
watching
other
movies
There's other
again.
good movies you should probably watch first.
It's funny, when I'm here, Jen watches movies. She's like, yeah, I watched the menu. She was like, it was kind of predictable. I was like, okay. Should I watch it?
Thanks for watching it without
Yeah,
me,
well,
because I can't watch
Well,
movies
what's funny
without
is
you.
she's like, I didn't watch Black Adam because I thought you'd want to watch that one with me. And I was like, you can watch Black Adam. Don't worry about that. So she probably watched Black Adam tonight, would be my guess. And then she'll be like, that was a movie.
That's being generous.
Yep.
and then you have to watch 57 hours of HGTV.
No, she keeps she badgers me to watch shows like Last of Us. Like I'm like one episode a night. That's all I can deal with, and it's like it always ends. She's like, "You want to watch another one?" I'm like, "No,
Yeah, dude,
I don't."
I think it starts with episode 3, and I'm not spoiling anything. I'm just saying watch for the. I mean, actually, no, I take the first one, but watch the variable times. They are not all an hour.
Yeah, the first one was like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I mean
And I mentioned that to
the
her.
Nick
'cause-
Offerman
'cause,
one
like,
is like an hour and 20 minutes. Also,
yeah,
so
yeah. The first night she wanted to watch it, it was like 10:20. She's like, yeah, we can get an episode in. And I was like, no, we're not. Because I queued it up, started it, and like looked at the time. I was like, does that really say a fucking hour and a half for a TV show?
Yeah.
And apparently Stranger Things was even worse about that shit.
Well, the back half of what I thought was going to be the final season, they were each like an hour and a half. So I think they just cut them differently. They were like, I don't know. But
fewer episodes, but longer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But Stranger Things season 4 or whatever is all worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that it's worth going down that road again.
I'm just saying, to get to that season alone is worth it.
It has been since whenever that first season came out that I watched the first season, so I feel like I'd have to completely
you
restart.
You would. I mean, you have to almost suffer through the season before to even get it. It's sort of like the Fast and Furious to Fast 5. Like, it's not essential, but like you'll get so much more out of Fast 5 if you suffer through this not so good thing.
Yeah.
Like understanding, God, why did I just forget her name? To Max. Like understand Max's whole like struggle with her brother or stepbrother, whatever the hell he was, and all that stuff. It's like you have to understand that relationship to fully get season 4.
I mean, maybe you don't have to, but it helps.
It helps, yeah.
Well,
but I mean,
I can't just jump in on a show and be like, all right, I'm going to start watching this season. It's like, no, that does not compute.
Well, it's fine if it's like Saturday Night Live. But yes.
Right. But a continuous narrative TV show, why would you jump in at season 4?
But no,
that's why I don't watch Law and Order.
There's lots of like other movies that are in the good realm that you should probably watch first. Because like you were a big defender of the Witch, right? Like you really liked The Witch, right? Yeah,
it is a very good movie.
You should probably watch like The Lighthouse and these other things.
Yeah, I need to watch The Lighthouse and Northman. I think showed up on, it was either on HBO or Hulu or one of them.
Yeah, I'm saying like maybe go down that route before you try these like maybe movies.
Yeah, I need to just go in my little retreat area and watch the shows that I want to watch that Jen probably would have no interest in. When did we replace your tube mic?
This thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. Mine died some time ago.
Okay. Because I noticed ours are 200s and yours is only a 100. I'm curious as to the difference.
Oh, well, yeah.
They discontinued the 200s.
Yeah.
We don't have the switchy switch on the 100s.
Oh, they don't have the...
Yeah.
I mean, the switchy switch isn't that big of a deal.
Phase reverse.
Phase reverse.
But they don't have...
Yeah, it doesn't have the different tone settings.
Yeah, which we never use anyway, so...
Pretty sure it's just on Vocal Worm.
Probably. Makes sense.
We want warm vocals.
I'm on vocal limiter because we decided to put it on limiter because we were a lot louder back then.
Oh.
We were. Now look at us. What have we become?
Old.
Yes. Because I couldn't even remember what age I am.
What's my age again?
I still have to do math to figure it out.
You're 43. I don't know that you're actually 43, but that's all I'm going to remember.
I think I'm older than that.
They tell me I should act my age.
You're going to be 43.
More than that because I was born in the 70s, so I can tell you that at least.
Well, you haven't had a birthday this year.
I'm from the 70s and you're a 90s bitch.
What?
Huh? What? I'm just over here quoting songs and shit.
I know. Happy birthday to Kesha, speaking of songs. Since I know she's probably watching tonight.
Yeah.
It's her birthday. Why wouldn't she be here?
Sure. Happy birthday, birthday, $, huh?
What song of hers would I know?
TikTok?
That song we fucking hate.
Like the app?
Yeah, she invented TikTok.
Right.
And all the
like
dances.
I legit don't know any of her
Timber
songs.
featuring Pitbull.
This
that
is
one?
you will have to understand
Really?
that this is like the weirdest 180 in human history because the first time we ever heard Kesha, we spent our times almost. I mean, besides the fact that we were in a subway, and that almost makes you want to vomit in and of itself. But then we were hearing TikTok, and I think we all collectively wanted to vomit up our $5 sandwiches. So I mean,
I finally embraced the part of me that likes dirty, stupid pop.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm
I have
I merely court sonographering here. I don't care. I mean, I
yeah.
don't care what people like.
I guess my algorithm is just not aligned with her because she never shows up in anything. So
I did decide there is a Kesha song I like. There's something that I discovered. I don't remember what it was called now. I'd have to go look at the names of her songs, but when it comes on, I actually do like it.
Is it Woman or Gold Trans Am or
I think it's Gold Trans Am.
Wham Bam, Thank You Ma'am?
I think
Get
it's
inside
Gold
my
Trans-
fucking Gold Trans
Yeah,
Am.
I think that's it. Yeah.
That's a fucking good song.
Yeah.
There are other songs like that. If you like that, there are other songs that have that kind of feel.
Yeah, there's something I was probably on Pandora or something. I was like, what is this? Wait, it's Kesha? I like this shit.
I like this shit.
Well, I mean,
She's got a song with Eagles of Death Metal called Boogie Feet,
okay.
which is pretty good. I think it's on the same, might be on the same album as Gold Trans Am. But I mean, considering the stuff that you listen to generally, nothing is going to recommend Kesha to you.
Okay.
But except for me. But
Okay.
you know,
And I can just ignore you.
yeah,
So it all works out.
it's what you do usually anyway. So
Uh-huh.
I think
except
I-
on Fridays when I ask you for stuff for posting the
Yeah.
podcast.
I remember why I discovered Gold Trans Am. I was making a playlist of car songs. That's what it was. And I just started looking for lists of things to do with cars. I was searching, and
Did you have Tracy Chapman on that playlist?
probably, I mean, I don't, maybe. It's not really
Did
a
you
banger.
have Blinded by the Light? Because they get revved up like a deuce.
No.
Another
I
runner
like
in
Katie
the
Has a
night.
Fast Car, but goddamn, that's not a song that feels like a car song.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's not really
It
a
doesn't have the
banger.
vibe.
Did you have
Right.
a Bitchin' Camaro?
Yeah,
Probably.
gotta have bitchin'.
Yeah. My parents drove it up from Bahamas. Yes, I could do that fast. It's a plague in my head. All right, yeah, I guess we're supposed to start, aren't we?
Whatever.
Just busy talking about songs and stuff.
We don't have Chuck here to keep us on track anymore.
Yeah, but we have people in the chat keeping us on track.
Yeah, I
We got
guess so.
chat trackers.
We're gonna have to put Bob on the payroll.
Matt chat tracker over here.
Little Bobby
Live
Connolly.
chat tracker, storm tracker, weather tracker, tracker,
We call him Robbie C.
Matt tracker of mask.
Big Bob.
Beacon.
Why?
Big Bobby.
What the fuck is wrong with my head?
A lot. A whole lot. This is why it takes
Let's
me so
not
long
get
to
into
edit the
that.
fucking
Huh?
podcast.
We're not getting into
Now
that.
they get into that? Okay. Just keep it all inside, less outside. That's what I got to do.
Are we recording?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
All right, welcome to the BMFcast.
Hey,
BMFcast.
BMFcast.
Episode 571.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sure. Nice.
Numbers keep going up.
Yeah. That tends to happen.
So I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
And what we do each and every episode of this here BMFcast is we only watch ourselves a quote-unquote bad movie. Then we come in here and talk about it. Then they get ratings. Good bad movies, enjoyable bad movies. They get 1 to 5 jocks and robot jocks.
Robot jocks.
The pinnacle. However, there are bad movies that stay away. They get a negative sliding scale, 1 to 5 bags, that's some giant bags of trash.
Boo.
Gross. No
Yeah,
good.
We
That's
don't like
a
those
bad
movies.
rating.
Yeah. So we through our own sheer whatever blundery, we've started late with Blaxploitation History Month, so we're kind of tacking on a little extra bonus week here because we didn't want to
The month
shortchange
ends
anything here.
when we say it ends.
It's true.
February is already short enough, so
Correct.
we're not going to do
Yeah.
short shrift to Blaxploitation History Month.
Yes. So we're finishing out this month, even though technically at the time of recording it is just barely ticked over into March. I don't care.
We won't tell if you don't.
Yeah. But yes, again, we're kind of dipping out of the proper Blaxploitation realm, and this time with our first well, actually no, we did Double Agent or Double O Soul or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a parody.
That was bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we also did. We're doing. I'm gonna get you, sucker, from 1988.
We're in Blaxploitation exploitation.
Right. Yeah.
Seption.
It's being resploited or the resploit.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a spoof, but kind of not, because it's not nearly as broad as you would. When you say spoof,
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's not like Zucker Brothers airplane type thing.
It dips into that. It
does,
not,
but it's occasional.
Yeah, it's not as constant as those eras. Like the airplane basically started that spoof trend, or I guess Kentucky Fried Movie's short version of Enter the Dragon before that. But I mean, like I'm just saying, like those are like carpet bombs gags of like sight, visual, everything, just nonstop.
Well, there is a gag to be had in every single second of this movie. If you pay attention to the background,
pretty close,
there's a gag everywhere. But in tone, this movie is 70% parody and 30% pastiche.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'd agree with
70%
that.
parody, 20% pastiche, and then 10% homage.
That's too much French. I can't handle that much.
Well, you better get used to it.
Oh, why? The French taking over?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Je ne sais quoi.
Haven't you heard?
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
but
this movie
it's-
starts in a heavy parody vibe because the first scene is a murder scene with some detectives rolling up on a body, and we learn that the person OG'd, which meant they over golded because he has covered himself head to toe in gold chains, and as a cause of death. Never explained why, other than weight and suffocation, or
Nope.
it's not like they were murdered for the jewelry, which is
Nope.
what is also kind of implied is what would be the downfall of that. But he's
Yeah.
fully wearing all of his chains, so just he's dead.
He just overdosed on gold.
I'm
And
saying that it's so starting off. It's a very heavy like sight gag of this guy wrapped in gold chains, and and it has a heavy airplane vibe, and then backs off from there.
Yeah.
And this begins the first of like 12 running jokes throughout the movie. The first one of which is, how does he go to the bathroom with all that shit on?
Yes, no one has ever responds. It's
No,
just, it's
no.
always a hypothetical question to the air. So
Yeah, but this is Junebug, who is the brother of Keenan Ivory Wayans, the director and writer of the film, as well as the star.
and producer and craft service guy. No, I don't.
He,
I don't know what all he did.
he did a lot.
Sure.
But the other thing he did, before we get too far into it, he brought a lot of alums into this movie.
Oh, God.
Well,
and
yeah.
I'd be really curious about like what their intentions were with casting or not, because like you've got Jim Brown, you've got Isaac Hayes, you've got Bernie Casey, and I'm wondering because Bernie Casey is a character named John Slade, who is clearly supposed to be John Shaft. Like in the way he's dressed, they even play the theme song following him.
sans lyrics. It's an instrumental
Yeah.
version of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And they also have Steve James, one of the Mount Rushmore members of the BMFcast,
Absolutely.
playing Kung Fu Joe, which is clearly would have been Jim Kelly.
Right.
Actually, Jim Kelly was still alive at that point, but
Yeah.
But would Jim Kelly have been willing to do
that's
this parody of Jim Kelly?
and that's kind of what I'm wondering because like Antonio Fargas as well is a pimp character, and they tried apparently they tried to get Superfly to do that one, but he's like, no, because no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you wonder if they try to get Richard Roundtree to play John Slade.
Well, the interesting thing about John Slade is that even though he's supposed to be John Shaft, his character isn't that overblown. Like
No.
like the pimp and like Kung Fu Joe. He's not a giant cartoonish parody of John Shaft. He's just a stand-in for John Shaft.
Yeah. I mean, I think actually his character's strength is that he's just a caricature of blaxploitation movie hero. I mean, they're just like
Right.
it's just
Yeah, always the coolest guy in the room.
Just back in the day, he was a little too tough and got rid of the bad guys, but then he stopped and they came back. And he stopped because people were like, "Hey, you're too tough," and so he's like, "Well, fuck you, I quit," and crime came back. So that's really like his entire backstory.
Yeah. I was expecting some sort of flip at the end where it would be revealed that he's working with Mr. Big or something. But no,
They really set it up for that, don't
they did. But no, it was just he got tired of people telling him what to do and how to do it, so he stopped.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also at some point they tell us how Keenan Ivory Wayans' mom had a thing with Slade, but they make it clear that he is not Keenan Ivory Wayans' father.
Yeah, they sort of try to begin to imply that, and then they take a hard turn away.
Yeah, and they shut that down pretty quick. But yeah, otherwise it's a whole bunch of people like Kadeem Hardison. Half of the In Living Color cast show up at some point, and this was a couple of years before that. Damon Wayans is in there.
The entire Wayans family is in this.
Yeah, Dawn Lewis, who started with Kadeem Hardison in Different World later on. And she was one of those people who was like, oh, wait, was she on In Living Color too? And no, she was not. She was kind of more of a regular actress, so to speak. But yeah, he stacks this cast, really.
Mm-hmm.
And plot-wise, I mean, yes, it's kind of a blaxploitation movie, but it's just kind of meandering for quite a while before it finally goes anywhere.
The general plot is every blaxploitation movie, which is Whitey is exploiting or hassling, the black community, and so they have to, our hero has to fight back against Whitey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is John Vernon, who's Mr. Big, who has been flooding the streets with gold.
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel like I at least 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 of our other movies have been involving like someone's younger brother getting killed by being around the crime or somewhere near the crime and them coming home from the war or something and having to avenge them or find out. I mean, that's exactly what's here, except because it's a comedy. He's back from war in 1988 where there was no, or back from army when there was no war in 1988.
Right.
So he's been a secretary basically.
Yeah.
He has a billion ribbons for like shorthand and
he had one ribbon for shorthand, one ribbon for something I couldn't hear, and the third one was surfing.
Which is that a Apocalypse Now joke? I don't even know what that, or if it's just funny that you get
I
a
think
ribbon
it's-
for surfing. I don't know.
It's the 80s. Surfing
Okay.
is,
All right.
surfing is in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, I think it would be unlikely for a black man to be surfing. It theoretically, like I know it's a stereotype, right? And that's not necessarily correct, but it's an unexpected thing for a black man to be surfing.
In the 80s, black
Especially
men
in
were
the
not
80s.
allowed to surf.
Well, yeah,
It was a different time back then.
yeah. But he was allowed to
So
surf
we had
and protect.
segregated oceans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, they're usually segregated by continents, but okay.
It was,
Honestly,
it
in
was
some
a
places.
different time back then.
Okay.
Let me tell you about a little thing called American Beach.
Oh.
No, but I mean, it's and that's what's weird now is watching a kind of parody movie in these times because it's like his jacket, which is coated in patches and all sorts of stuff. My brain is like, is that a joke? Or is it just like, did we all wear patch jackets with 50 patches on them back
Well, I mean,
then?
the only time, the only people in the army or whatever that get cool jackets out there are like fighter pilots and stuff. I mean, your
I
average
was gonna
guys.
say,
that looks like a bomber jacket, but
Yeah.
he's a secretary, so I mean, who knows?
That's a direct reference to Top Gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 100%.
Yeah.
I just had to check because I couldn't remember.
Just with all the extra patches.
Yeah, because like Top Gun came out in '86. This came out in '88, so that's 100% a reference to Top Gun and Tom Cruise's jacket, which was also covered in campaign patches.
He had a few. It wasn't like this. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it had like 8, whereas this one has 37. But
Yeah. But anyway, he's returned from not going to war, but he's been gone for 10 years.
yeah,
And he gets back as his mother and his, I guess it's Junebug's wife.
yes,
Yeah, are being harassed by Kadeem Hardison and Damon Wayans, who are basically pimps that are saying he owed us $5,000 for all that gold, and either you guys are going to pay it, or we're going to use Dawn Lewis as our payment.
Yeah, it's implied that like they're going to kidnap her or something.
Yeah, that kind of becomes like the impetus for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Is it's always that's the looming threat that they're going to come kidnap her,
And somehow she's going to be worth thousands of dollars. Like, it's not specified what she's going to do. I mean, it's implied that she's going to be pimped out, but like Mr. Big is going to use her to make tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it's the arcade cabinet principle. I mean, you spend like $1,000 on the arcade cabinet, but you make it back in all the quarters.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Only they would spend $0 on on her.
Yeah, but it's also revealed at this point that his mom knows how to beat people's asses, because she's the one actually who beats up both of the pimps and chucks them down the stairs.
Yes.
To get them out of the house.
Beginning a second running joke.
Yes. That whenever they leave, they're asked if they said they can either go out the window or down the stairs, and they always take the stairs, and then they get kicked down the stairs.
No, or later to the point they just throw themselves down the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the third time that comes up.
Rule of threes.
But also starting the running joke that his mom has always done the fighting for him, and so like every time he's for at least most of the movie, every time he's about to get in a fight, she just comes from out of nowhere and intervenes
And just beats the hell out of people.
And then this is also when is it this time or the second time? It's the second time when they do the obvious stuntman gag from Spaceballs. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
when he goes to pick up the Dawn Lewis in the restaurant to bring her home.
What year is Spaceballs? Is this concurrent or Spaceballs like 86? Were they stealing everything
No,
from 86?
Spaceballs like it might be 87.
Yeah.
No, I can't remember.
It's somewhere right around here.
Right around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when the
I
mom
think
comes in,
I don't think they're stealing that gag specifically
sure
from
that's-
Spaceballs.
no.
I think they're stealing it from
movies,
every other
yes.
movie that came before them.
Yes.
Yeah. But they're clearly a stuntman, because I think it's a white guy in a fro.
Oh, with a mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah, I
beats
mean, it's literally like this. I mean, it might as well be even the same stuntman that was like the princess from Spaceballs. I mean, it's just like the same principle of like, white dude with a big handlebar mustache. That's supposed to be a stunting for a lady.
Yeah. Yeah, but after this happens, and Junebug, he finds out that Junebug died from a gold overdose, and then he needs to find the guys who did it, and that's when he decides he's going to go get some help from John Slade, who's Bernie Casey, who is by far the coolest character in this movie, until another one shows up later. But as far as like a cool cat character, let's put him that way. And
he meets him because he is hosting the the Inner City Games. Is that what it is?
Yeah, the Inner City Gang Games.
Yeah. And the first event, it's like it started off. We see a starter's pistol, and obviously a race is happening, but it's basically dudes that are stealing TVs while the police and the police dogs are chasing them.
Yes.
Yeah, the person firing the starter pistol, like it pans down and it's a cop holding the gun, and then he levels
it's
it
the
at
starter
the
pistol
at the
at
guys.
all.
Yeah,
Actual pistol, but Right, and added humor for millennials and above. These are CRT TVs, so
so it's a large large item.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Bernie Casey, he does a whole whole interview with the news people, and then that's when Keanu Ivory Williams comes over. He's like, "Hey, we got this problem in the streets, man. You took care of it before. Why aren't you taking care of it now?" And he's like, "I'm retired. I'm sick of this shit. I took out Mr. Big once. It's somebody else's job now." So he says, well, okay then. I guess we're done here.
Yeah, he doesn't get mad at me. He does the "I looked up to you" speech.
Yeah.
He does the "I'm disappointed in you, son" speech, and it works.
Yes.
Oh, well,
eventually.
he also shows the picture of his mom before he introduces her as his mom. He goes off and like, "Oh yeah, I remember her. She could like do this amazing thing with her mouth." And he's like, "Man, that's my mom."
Yeah. And he's also like, "You're not going to do any of that. You're my son shit, are you?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that cuts that off.
Yeah. But Bernie Casey doesn't agree yet.
No.
He comes back later. But from here he's like, fine. And so he goes to recruit help from basically the Black Panthers. I forget what the name of the organization is, but it's like the anti-whitey something.
Yeah. I believe it's the People's Liberation Army or something very, very generic like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But he comes in and who's the actor that plays him?
Clarence Williams the third.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, he goes in, and Clarence Williams III is the guy behind the counter, and he's like, "All right, well, we need to raise an army. We gotta take out Mr. Big." And he's like, "Yeah, about the army. We had an army, but then they all got government jobs because when we went to storm the government, they were
just
accepting,
offered them jobs.
Yeah, they were accepting applications, and so everyone got jobs."
He's like, "Goddamn, Whitey is sinister," or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't know, the weakest joke of the movie plays out. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like, I mean, not.
Speaking of references, that it's like, wow, I don't know if how that works.
I mean,
anymore.
well, especially like to your target audience. I mean, come on. I mean, come the fuck on. I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't catch it, and
and you care about these
Well,
things.
I mean, I'm just like, I'm white, and I grew up watching Nick at Night, so I'm just saying. But yes, I mean, he's doing all this, like, white people suck. The man sucks. All this, standard kind of stuff, and offering him bean pies and bean everything, bean soda, I believe. But
which he tells him it's an acquired taste.
yeah. But then Eve Plum, aka Cindy Brady, comes out, and it's his wife, and then his two very, very white children, one of which is the girl from Jurassic Park, right?
Ariana Richards.
Yeah, Richards. Okay.
Yeah, Ariana Richards.
Yeah, like come out, and like but in the background is like the Brady Bunch theme is playing, and then
the whole time,
and then like it's very like they're giving a paper on Lincoln, which is just like he used slavery for his own political gains and all this stuff, and then
some poor white trash shot him
and all
the
that stuff.
end.
Yeah, who cares, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm so proud, you can go watch TV. And I like at the time I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's why the Brady Bunch theme was playing, until the credits came up, and I'm like, that is the most esoteric dumb reference I've ever seen. Like, who the fuck knows what Cindy Brady looks like growing up with a weird Rasta wig on? I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's a very weird thing.
Yeah, she had like the Adele dreads going.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like, I wouldn't know what she looked like. I mean, I wasn't watching a lot of Brady reunion shows or know what they look like when they were growing up.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with these types of movies, where like you can keep throwing jokes at the wall, you're not going to hit with all of them.
I mean, okay, so this is really weird, but I mean, was like Keenan like so inspired by Airplane, he was like, I have to go get a sitcom person, like the whole like was it Mrs. Cleaver in Airplane? I mean, like, I don't know, what is it like?
It's weird, like less than the movie itself. I like would want to hear a commentary track just about who they tried to cast, what they were, how certain things came about.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if that was like, I don't know. I have no idea. Like, I'm trying to suss it out. Like, was it like, I don't know. I wanted that Florence Henderson, or no, Florence Henderson was the Brady mom. I don't remember Barbara Billingsley in Airplane thing. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I just like, I wanted that moment of like, this is the weird shit I grew up with, the little Easter egg thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, also, like I said, it's just like, that's a weird pool. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. But from this point,
hey, Link hooked up with Cindy Brady, so there you go.
Yep. But now he's left there. He's like, well, I guess that's not going to work. And that's when he goes to the diner to meet up with Dawn Richards, and that's when they get attacked. The mom saves them. He goes home and he's like, I'm going to get myself armed and I'm going to take care of this myself. And that's when Bernie Casey shows up, and he's like, all right, man, I'll be willing to help you, because he ends up chasing them into the street, and they immediately get shot at by Kadeem Hardison and Damon Wayans once again, killing a guy who's proposing to his girlfriend across the street, and then they end up using him as a human shield.
Yeah. Well, because like at that point, the fiance, or she was going to be the fiance, because like she fishes the engagement ring out of his pocket as he's dead, and she's so taken by the ring and everything, she doesn't even notice that like Bernie Casey's like, oh, he won't mind. Just picks up his dead body and starts using it like a human shield.
And he also says that, hey, at least he didn't cheap out. Yeah.
I just like that she's immediately like about the ring and doesn't hear any of that. Like, yeah, sure. Anywho.
Yeah, but they go take them out, and then they're like, why are you trying to kill us? And they're like, well, Mr. Big found out you were asking some questions that he doesn't want answered, and the usual blaxploitation thing. And so they let them go, and then that's when they go to they go to a bar together, Bernie Casey and Keenan Ivory Wayans, and this is where Kim Wayans is singing in the bar, and she's like singing like the lounge version, like the lounge, very soulful, intense version of when the Saints go marching in.
She is just going so fucking far into it.
It's so good, and she's like thrashing around on the stage.
Yeah,
Like
it just the performance gets more overblown the longer it goes on. Like
Yeah.
the longer that scene goes on.
with also Bernie Casey just every once in a while looking at the stage like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I think somebody asked the bartender like, "What's her deal?" and he says she's the director's sister.
Yeah. They do a fourth wall break.
Yep.
There. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, they go there, and this is when a decorated BMFcast alum shows up because Bernie Casey's like, "Hey man, if you're gonna be a black hero, you got to be cool and you got to get laid."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "When's the last time you got laid?" And he's like, I've been just waiting for the right special person." He's like, "All right, listen, there's love, and then there's getting some." And then he's like, "Your mom, that was love, but that girl over there, that's getting some." And and it is our decorated BMFcast alum, Anne-Marie Johnson of Robot Jocks fame.
Athena from Robot Jocks.
Yep.
AKA the lady.
The one lady in the entire movie.
No, no, there was also the
I
doctor
know.
lady.
Yes, there
Oh,
was
that's
the
right.
doctor.
There was a Dr. Lady. Sorry. I thought I actually for a second I thought she
The
was the only lady in the
Doctor lady in charge of the 2B program.
Yeah, and then maybe some people got crushed in the stands.
I mean, yes, there might have been some Bedouins and ladies in the
I believe there were other robot jocks that were ladies that were in the background.
sure.
Anyway, the main lady from
yeah.
Robot Jocks.
And they go on this whole innuendo laden thing, and they go back to her place, and because she's taking him back because he said he's got 12 inches, and even Bernie Casey's like, don't think that's gonna work, buddy. But they get back there, and then he's like, "I got to tell you, I don't have 12 inches. It's a little less." And she's like, "Oh, then it feels good to be honest, because like my eyes aren't actually green."
She takes her contacts out.
Yeah. And then she goes, "And also this," and takes her wig off, and she's got
She's got what? Gilly hair?
Yeah.
Kind of like worse than gilly hair.
it's just like clearly a bald cap on, but there's like a few straggly hair,
Yeah, a
curly
few
hairs every once in a while on her head. I mean, her head just looks like a ball sack. Let's I mean,
Yeah,
there's no other
but
way
there's
around
one
it.
there's one piece of hair with like a ribbon around it.
Yeah.
Right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And then what else
She takes off her prosthetic leg.
Well, first
No.
fake breasts and fake ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plastic.
Plastic, yeah.
Like comedy plastic.
I love that.
TNA.
Like, not only like is it sculpted to be an ass, but it's sculpted to be like an old person's ass. Like it's like
It's not
it's
even a good ass.
no, yeah. I mean, but it's like it's got like wrinkles and sag and cottage cheese like built into the prosthetic. It's like why would anyone make that?
Yeah. But she throws all those out, and then he ends up basically just running out of the room screaming. And because she's removed her prosthetic leg, she says, "Don't make me hop after you."
Yeah.
And that's the last we see of her in this
Yes.
movie.
And again, for newer generation purposes, you may recognize the same sketch being recreated on Saturday Night Live with Margot Robbie. Basically, as a librarian, they did basically the same thing where she's like super hot and starts slowly undoing everything that's fake about her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean that's a
Yeah.
gag that's been going on for a while. They return to the bar, or he returns to the bar, and Bernie Casey and One-Eyed Sam has shown up. I forget who One-Eyed Sam is played by.
Hawthorne James.
Hawthorne James.
You will recognize him.
Yeah.
Once again. But yeah, they Hawthorne's like, "All right, I got armaments for you. I can help you out." And they get back to the to his office or lair or whatever you want to call it.
Bunker.
Yeah. And he's just like, "Keen Ivory Waynes, you were in the Army. Where'd you serve?" And he's like, "Well, I did this." And I forget how he phrases it, but he's like, "So you were a secretary, huh?"
Yeah, it's something like
Department
that.
of Administrative Affairs.
Yeah,
or something like that.
yeah. And he goes, "Oh, so you were a secretary?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess so." And he's like, "So was I." And then they're
Put it there, pal.
And Bernie Casey is so pissed. He's just like, "What?"
He's like, "What? I've known you forever. You said you were a nom." He's like, "Yeah, I was in Saigon. I did all the paperwork there."
Yep. And he's got another jacket full of patches.
Oh.
And he's like, "What are those for?" And he's like, "Well, that one's for
Typing.
best typist, and that one's for surfing." And he's like, "Surfing, yeah."
Yeah. Well, how'd you lose your eye? It's like, oh, we were shooting paper clips at each other and one hit me in the eye.
And I didn't think that the shooting paper clips at each other thing would be the Chekhov's gun in this movie. But.
Yeah, because
Keenan,
Keenan,
whatever.
yeah. Is like, oh yeah, I almost lost my eye doing that too.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's given them a bunch of like rusty old grenades and just like a bunch of stuff just looks like crap.
Bunch of shit that's been sitting around for 20 years.
Covered in dust, just looks like garbage. But they take it. And that's when they're like, all right, well, we got to get more guys. And so
he's basically like, I can clean up these guns. And then he's like, all right, well, you deal with the guns. I'll go get the army. Yeah.
Yep. And so this is when that we get a couple of our favorite blaxploitation heroes in in Isaac Hayes and Jim Brown, who both run a barbecue shop together.
I believe that's Sir Isaac Hayes. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Sir Isaac Hayes. They run a barbecue shop, and this is when a very, very, very young Chris Rock comes in and asks for ribs. How much are the ribs? How about just one rib?
Yeah.
Which you've heard plenty of places at this point.
I mean, that's the thing is like I don't know if like my brain is like Mandela affecting this, but like I feel like he's either done a longer version of this in one of his comedy routines or it's just been referenced to death.
Mm-hmm.
And and I'm hearing other bits.
Yeah.
I know there's a similar sketch that's a takeoff on Indecent Proposal that's from In Living Color later, but yeah.
I think it's just one of those things like all the Austin Powers stuff. Where it's like you can't even hear the real thing anymore because everyone has destroyed it. But Isaac Hayes is ready to kill him by the end of the scene. Mm-hmm. But that's when Bernie Casey shows up and it's like, hey guys, you need to come join my crew. Like, okay, yeah, and then he's like, get in touch with Joe. We need to get Joe over there too.
Yeah, we don't see who Joe is for a while.
Yeah. From here, I mean, there's just gags, to be totally honest. It's just at some point there's a sequence where Bernie Casey bless you.
That was like a dab sneeze.
To all my haters, I say achoo.
It's from here it's just a series of gags, honestly. Like there's one involving Bernie Casey where he's basically got the Shaft outfit on with the gloves and everything, and he's walking down the street, and you're hearing the Shaft theme, and then you see behind him there's guys with drums and saxophone and all that stuff playing his theme song behind him.
Mm-hmm.
That's also when he goes and meets the pimp guy. I think that's where he goes from there, isn't it? Where he's got to recruit the pimp guy for some reason. They don't really make it clear.
Well, he has all the 411 on all Mr. Big's activities.
Yeah, he goes to him in the prison first, and he's like, "You've been in here. You've clearly heard everything by being in here. But you're also like getting out today." So, instead of waiting for him to get out, like a couple hours later, he goes to visit him in prison. I think just so we can get the stencil joke on the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because like it's not done particularly well because they didn't let it dry and they didn't like redo the whole thing. But it's like they've taken the rules of the prison where it's like no firearms, no knives, and tobacco or alcohol, but they've like stenciled in and gold.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, he gets that, and then we get a flashback to the best pimp contest that he wins. But again, gags.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Slammer and Hammer, which are Jim Brown and Sir Isaac Hayes trying to drive somewhere, and suddenly like they're descended upon by bums who want to wash the car windows.
Yep.
But it's like 30 of them, and you've probably seen that clip somewhere too.
I feel like I mean I
feel like that's another one that makes the rounds.
This almost like dips into like Better Off Dead style of comedy for a little while, where it's just super surreal out of nowhere. Yeah. For a little while. I'm backing up to the whole Pimp of the Year thing. I think, I could be wrong, but I think the guy hosting that was actually like a guy that hosted one of those like actual
pimp
either Miss America or no, not Pimp.
Oh.
But no, like one of the beauty pageant things, like one of the big ones. I don't remember the guy's name, but I'm pretty sure that actually was one of the guys that hosted that. I'm just saying, like the weird like why bother casting other than people in Hollywood thing, but.
Yeah, and again, like so much of it would play better for like, why is this character here? If it was okay, we got the actual guy who played Superfly to be in there.
Sure.
That's the sort of stuff that makes
Ron
you
O'Neal.
wonder about.
He has a name. I said Ron O'Neill. He has a
Okay,
name.
Ron O'Neill. Fine.
Well, we've said everyone else's name. I'm just
I
saying
know,
Superfly has a
sorry.
name too.
So yeah, it's just a lot of gags until they get to. Oh wait.
We can just still hear
Well-
it. That's why we were giving you time to not have to edit. I mean, you're gonna have to cut this anyway, but I'm saying we can still hear you.
We're getting to the best character. We want you to be here for part of it. Hey, chat.
That was the main reason I switched the filter, was because I realized you can hear it if you refill in the middle of the show. I don't know if you could hear it on the recording, but I could hear it when you got water last week. So I was like, I should probably
really?
go change that.
Oh.
I didn't hear it.
No.
Well, that's good.
You can't hear anything outside of this room, really. Like every time,
Like the cat goes nuts and stuff.
yeah,
Oh, I can't hear it.
every time, like a plane goes flying over the house, like 3 feet off the rooftop.
We all just sound weird.
We
sitting
go,
there
huh?
going,
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, my child.
So that first sneeze, the catastrophic one, felt like it tore a hole in my neck here. The most recent one, it feels like it tore a hole over here. So I'm just falling apart.
You don't have COVID, do you?
Not that I know of. It's just
I hope
like,
not.
yeah, I'm just getting nose tickles.
Yeah.
It might be allergies because, all the trees are fucking jizzing all over the place right now.
Yeah.
I was
fucking
just saying
trees.
all the trees are fucking.
Yeah.
Tree fuckers.
Yeah, I don't have any other symptoms other than just this sneeze.
Yeah. So they get through their gags, their random gags that they, I guess, wanted to fit in, and they just needed to kill time to make an hour and a half movie. And so they've all met up at a warehouse of some kind where Slammer and Hammer are actually introduced to Keenan Ivory Wayans, who is, but all of them are like, especially it's weird. They play Isaac Hayes like he's really pissed off and like he really wants to kill people, even though that was not like what Turner was at all.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like it's hard to say who was supposed to be who if they had their dream casting. Because I mean, you would think Isaac Hayes, if they'd been able to get Fred Williamson, would have been Fred Williamson just because his name is Hammer.
Yeah.
And why would you make the Hammer Slammer joke if not to make the guy who was Hammer?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, clearly the character who's about to show up was supposed to be Jim Kelly, but
Yeah, but they're just like, he's like, have you ever shot a man and killed him? And he's like, no. And he's like, have you ever just taken a knife and cut him from his asshole to his appetite?
That was such a good line.
And he's like, no, man. And then that's when Jim Brown walks over and he's just like, so what makes you think you qualified to be a black hero? And he waits for a beat, and then he goes, I used to play football. And then Jim Brown just gets this look on his face like, all right, yeah. And then he just kind of walks away. And then this is when we are introduced to Kung Fu Joe, played by Steve James. I feel the only one in this movie who is truly committed to what the fuck he is doing.
sure.
Because he is doing the Jim Kelly, Bruce Lee thing at all times.
Well, yeah, I mean, he comes in kung fu fighting everywhere, and then just kind of goes over the corner and pulls out like a framed picture that he's wearing around his neck, and he's like, "They killed my master!"
Yeah.
and then
he's like,
everyone comes over and is like, "Oh, Mr. Big killed your master?" Yeah, he's like, "Oh, your master was Bruce Lee." He's like, "No, my acting coach," or something like that. Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah.
yeah. But just the way he walks and moves through any scene is doing like the whole,
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah, he's full time the stealth version of Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon when he's doing the very deliberate, like everything is a dance pose, like ballet movement,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And and every time I love it. Whenever he shows up for anything, I love it.
I think the thing that really killed me. So I won't skip ahead because it's spoilery, but yeah, there's a gag he does later on that just I was like, all right, fine, you finally you finally beat me into like I can't help but laugh at this. Yeah. I mean, incredibly culturally insensitive, but come on, that's where humor actually lies. Is we're in the middle of ground of wrong and right. So
yeah. But they've now that they've got the gang together, they're like, all right, what we need to do, we need to get Mr. Big's attention by disrupting all his businesses, and then we'll be able to shut him down from there because we'll flush him out, and then we'll be able to take him out. And so they go to I guess it's like an underground bar, but the only way you're allowed in is if you're wearing a giant hat.
It's called the Big Brim Club.
Big Brim Club?
Yeah. Or the Big Brim Room, something like that.
And like you think about Pharrell's Arby's hat is like
he wouldn't have been
amateur
allowed.
hour.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been
allowed
in.
Yeah,
these are all
bigger than Turd Ferguson hats.
Yeah, I was going to say these are like Norm Macdonald's Burt Reynolds hat looks stupid.
Yeah, and I guess they've also shown the pimp getting out of prison, and he's got his full pimp outfit with a giant ass hat, and he's got heels that have goldfish swimming around
platforms.
Yeah,
and full platforms.
But everyone makes fun of him as soon as he walks out,
because it's been 10 years that he was in jail, and it's not cool anymore to be like that.
Nope. Yeah, and he also shatters the shoes. Eventually shatter.
Well, it's only when his dreams are falling apart. It's symbolic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I never realized.
Oh yeah,
there was that much depth to this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we've been introduced to the big hat, but the Big Broom Club is just full of these people, and they just shoot up the bar and are just like, everyone give us all your gold right now. But then there are little people hidden in the hats, and there's been a whole thing that Keenan Ivory Wayans had against a family of little people that had attacked him at some point in the past.
Yes.
Well, it was part of the backstory of like all the times his mom had to come and save him, and one of them was he was getting beat up by the something family of little people.
The Evans family.
Yeah, and she had to come rescue him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now he's seen one of them, he's recognized him, and he just starts to beat the hell out of him.
Yeah, and it's it's Tony Cox, right?
Yes, it's Tony Cox.
I mean, you're just talking about people you recognize.
Yeah. Yep. But that's when Bernie Casey basically drags him out of the place where Tony Cox is going, from the waist down your mind, motherfucker.
Yeah, and then Keenan says something like, get up on a ladder and we'll see see how big you are.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I.
Yep. But they drag him out, and so then from here they blow up one of his shops, I guess, because Isaac Hayes is tossing like Molotov cocktails through.
Yeah, it's a gold shop. I mean, it's a jewelry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're killing the source. I mean,
the drug trade.
Yeah, I love that they're supposed to be cleaning up the neighborhood, but they're just killing a chain shop.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. But while this is happening, they've decided now it's time to actually kidnap Don Lewis. And but in another one that's just kind of like doesn't quite work, she has to leave work because she's having cramps, and then that's when Damon Wayans attacks her, but she attacks him back because of the cramps, so she goes all exorcist on him.
Yeah, or Evil Dead basically.
Or,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's like her eyes go white and hair poofs up for no reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they capture her because one of them clubs her with the cast on his arm, and so she's been captured by Mr. Big. I guess Keenan Ivory Wayans finds out somehow. I don't even remember how, to be totally honest.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but either way, they were like, all right, shit, now we got to go there. We got to take them out.
Yeah, I mean, it's to load up and go do the final sequence, basically. I mean, they have an extended loading up montage.
Yeah. But I did skip something that happens between then. I also want to note, like, when they were shooting up the bar, Steve James is with them, basically just throwing karate chops at the air.
Oh, right.
While they're shooting up the bar.
What was it? I thought he was throwing shurikens for some reason.
Yeah.
It's funnier if he wasn't doing anything,
Yeah. It seemed like he seemed like the chick in what was that, the Dinosaur Island,
where doesn't have a spear.
Yeah, where she's just shaking her fist.
I mean, in a big budget, like, I'm sorry, it wasn't supposed to be the least bit funny moment, but like in Endgame, when everybody's coming through the portal, they have their little A-Force moment with all the ladies line up, and like it's Pepper in like the Iron Man suit, and sure he's got like guns and everything, and then Mantis comes out and it's just like, and I'm just like, yeah, all right, you go get him.
Yeah, go fight.
Yeah.
Yep. But so they've done this. They've blown up the place. The next morning, Mr. Big decides that he's just gonna. He calls the cops and he's like, "All right, just get them out of my hair. I don't care. Make up charges." And that's when Steve James gets pulled over, and the cops immediately make him get out of the car.
And he's driving this he's driving a foreign car. He's pretty much the only person that's driving a foreign car, and it's a Toyota, like a little Celica or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's intentional because he's the world's first. Is he the world's first weeb? No, that would have to be Jim Kelly, right?
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, whoever started following Bruce Lee first, I don't know. I'm sure somebody was like, big into Japanese culture before that, and that's not even Japanese culture. He's
Kareem
Chinese.
Abdul-Jabbar,
The first American weeb.
Yeah, I mean, he's also from Hong Kong. But yeah, I mean, other than that,
yeah. But anyway, he gets pulled over. The cops are basically just get out of the car, sir. And then he even does like the whole like arm flourish thing as he puts his hands on the hood of the car.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, look what we found here!" And they just pull out a big old vial of like cocaine or something. He's like, "Oh, so you guys are setting me up." And so he takes them out. We actually get a decent fight scene because it's Steve James. It's Steve fucking James. And then it's like you can tell one of the cops with the nightstick is like actually a stuntman who knows how to do some fights. But he gets taken out. And then immediately, like 7 cop cars pull up, and they all surround him. And he's just like, 70 of you, 1 of me. The odds look pretty good. Cut to immediately them just all unloading their firearms at him. Like simultaneously just shooting the shit out of him. And they don't even show him. They just show all the guns going off.
Right. It's just a quick cut to all the guns.
And then they just smash cut to whatever else the hell else is happening.
The original ending of Get Out, yes.
Yeah. Yep. And then they go from here. The next time we see Steve James is he's like stumbling down the street, bleeding out, just coated in blood, and his clothes are all shredded.
Well, they take out the pimp somewhere outside this too, right? Doesn't he? Because like this seemed to set up that they're just gonna one by one kill all of the OG crowd. Because I feel like they shot up the pimp like outside of
no, because he shows up later.
Oh, that's right, he does. Yeah, he's like I thought there was like somebody else who gets taken out before they actually. Is it the eye patch guy?
It might be. I honestly, I don't.
Because I mean, like at this point, it just seemed like it was going to be comedic. Like all these supposed original badasses are just going to go out like punks, but then
they kind of do anyway.
Well, I mean, I'm saying, but then it's like they also don't die. Like none of these people die. Because like the funniest gag, and what I was get to earlier is like he's been all shot up, and stumbles to, I guess it's back to Keaton's apartment or whatever. It calls the the apartment dial phone from outside, but he's like, yeah. Like he's yawing his way to each number that he's dialing. Yep. That's what finally got me. I was just like, all right, fine, fuck you. That's hilarious.
Yeah. But it's also he calls him and he's like, I've got to warn you. Yeah. They're setting us up. They're coming for you next. And then he realizes that the answering machine's like, the answering machine goes, aha, fooled ya.
Yeah, it's one of the joke messages, but like a really long pause though too. It's like, hello, this is so and so. Pause. Yeah. Oh, just kidding. I'm not home.
Yeah, but what I love is that Steve James has gone through the dramatic death sequence, and then when he realizes that the message didn't record, he kind of like creeps back up from dying.
Right. He undies just a little bit.
I love everything Steve James does in this movie. I may not love this movie, but everything Steve James does, I'm a fan of. Yeah. But so they don't get the message, but they end up all gearing up that night to go because I guess they find out where they've taken Dawn Lewis, and they just it starts out as your standard thing, but Keenan gets like the giant machine gun thing.
Like a belt fed thing.
Bernie Casey has a couple handguns, and so does Jim Brown. But then Isaac Hayes, they just have him like continually just loading holsters.
Yeah, he's got like 7 handguns, or maybe more.
And then he puts on a giant army jacket, and I was expecting him to start like shoving them in pockets there too, but he just grabs 2 shotguns, and then Jim Brown's like, you got enough? And he's like, you can never have too much. But as soon as they get outside,
Not even that, they're like walking out the door, and
they're literally walking out the door
he
of the
steps on
warehouse.
some empty casings that are on the floor and just loses his balance and falls to the ground, and all of his guns start going off. Yeah.
Yep, he guns himself down. And then, like, when the guys are like, oh my God, and they run up to him, he goes, did we get him?
Yeah.
That's kind of the best part.
Did we get the bastard?
Yep. No.
But then he's just like, I'll call you an ambulance, and then they just immediately like take off and leave him. I don't know. There's something kind of funny about the speediness with what they just leave him
Well,
behind.
he like it's like, we'll call you an ambulance.
Yeah.
Because Isaac Hayes just falls back down, like his head hits the pavement. He's pretty obviously very dead at that point.
Yeah.
But
man, then they get across the street from the warehouse where she's being held. They see her through the binoculars. Like, all right, well, there she is. Where's Mr. Big? And Keenan's like, I don't care about Mr. Big. We just need to save her. I'm like, okay. And so that's when Bernie Casey's like, all right, you're going to go, Keenan, you go through the window. Jim Brown, you go through the door. And Jim Brown's like, nah, I want to go through the window. I never get to go through the window.
Yeah, he's going through the roof with a lit explosive to cause a distraction.
Yeah, he's literally doing the thing from Shaft.
Yeah.
Like the one cool thing that's on the box art and all that stuff. And he's literally doing that. So he's got the lit dynamite. He's going down the side of the wall. And then, you see him kick back and forth, kick off the wall like he's going to swing back and smash through the door. Cut to inside, and you just see an explosion outside.
To which no one reacts to,
window.
really. I mean, they barely flinch. That's what's
They're
so
like,
funny about it.
did you hear something outside? No, I don't think so.
But yeah, he has
He
just blown
showed
himself up.
Just this smoking rope dangling in front of the window.
So yeah, he's
That's the best gag in the movie, I think.
He's blown himself up. And then they're like, well, shit. And so Keenan busts through the door. Jim Brown defenestrates himself
He does
through the
like
window.
the most realistic defenestration ever.
Yeah.
And then he just lands on the floor like, oh, fuck, that hurt.
But it's like he like took part of the Windows frame with him. Like
Yeah, it's
it
like
wrapped around.
Yeah, it's wrapped around him.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, he looks like he's just concussed himself.
Yeah.
And Keenan's like, nobody move.
Yeah.
And then he like looks down and Jim Brown's just on the floor like just concussed.
Yeah, it is to the car punching scene in Last Action Hero to defenestrations, you know, just like the realistic, like, no, this would fuck your hand up and hurt a lot.
Yeah. Yep. But this gets them in a big shootout, and eventually Jim Brown gets shot in the foot, and his bunion just keeps growing because of it.
Yeah.
And they have this disgusting prosthetic that just keeps getting larger and larger every time they look at it. And
Yeah.
But at this point, this is when his mom busts in and tries to save him from everyone shooting him.
And she's got a shotgun.
Yep.
Hey, look, a shotgun.
And he locks her in. He's able to lock her in a storage room because he wants to do this on his own. He doesn't need his mom to save him.
Yeah. Then they do like lots of little sight gags that they don't call any attention to. Like there's one where he's just standing in the middle of the room, doing the machine gun face to everybody. Yeah. But like they have made the perfect like silhouette around him of bullets. Yep. And then like the second he steps away, like someone hits him like dead center in the head, like where he was. But yeah, I mean it's like little gags like that aren't like, oh, look at our sight gag.
Well, that's what I mean. This movie is filled, absolutely filled with little gags like that, and a lot of them are way smaller than that, but they're everywhere. I love it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but eventually he's run out of bullets, and there's one last guy up at the top of the stairs, and he realizes that he's got a rubber band and a paper clip. So he shoots that guy in the eye and takes him out.
Yep.
And then finally gets up to the room and is able to... he gets in, kind of.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember how that all ends.
Well, he basically kicks the guy whose eye he's shot out. He kicks him into the room, and the two guys shoot him up, and he's able to take one of them out. But then Damon Wayans has not, is still armed because he doesn't see him.
He runs off screen and hides.
Yeah,
and
he runs off screen.
He comes out and he's like, "Ha
yeah,
I got
he comes
you.
out while he's untying her.
Yeah, she's doing the obvious over there.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, and there's also the injury that he has to deal with because he's too busy explaining to her how much it hurt because he gets basically like a paper cut.
Mm-hmm.
And
he
then,
gets a splinter.
Yeah, he gets a splinter and he has to heat up a wire to poke it out.
Yeah,
I thought he was giving himself a stitching. I thought he was giving himself stitches, but okay.
It's just a splinter,
that makes,
and
that makes a lot more sense. Okay,
he pulls out a. It's the parody of like pouring the gunpowder into your wound and lighting it on fire thing, but he uses a match, one single match, to sterilize a needle so that he can flick one splinter out, and then takes a piece of cloth and ties a tourniquet around his finger, and he's got a tourniquet on this finger for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, but he also does the scream when he's pulling out the splinter as well. But
I thought it was a cut, and he was giving himself a single stitch.
Yeah, no.
No, always double stitch.
But yeah, he's too busy telling her about it, and Damon Wayans gets the jump on him. But then the pimp shows back up and gets the jump on Damon Wayans.
Mm-hmm.
But then Mr. Big shows up and gets the jump on the pimp.
Yeah. And then...
But this is when he has a monologue about, he's like, what, you weren't expecting me?
Yeah.
He's like, plenty of distinguished actors have been in exploitation movies.
Yeah, they ran out at the end because Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween does not fit the rest of them. That's the odd man out there.
Yeah.
First movie, and it's not a blaxploitation movie. It's a slasher
Well, he
movie
said
and exploitation.
/exploitation.
Yeah, he said exploitation. I mean,
I don't think I would even qualify that as that. But
yeah.
Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that wasn't a get. That's her first movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't even fit in the mold of what he was talking about.
Yeah, they ruined their own joke.
Right.
Yeah. But from here, Bernie Casey gets the jump on him, and he's just wearing like shredded clothing, and he's all, he's got the classic,
The cartoon
ash,
I've just been
black
exploding.
ash all over the
Yosemite
face.
Sam
Like,
face
yeah. Yep. And he ends up killing him, and then they tell Damon Wayans there's 2 ways he can get out of the room, and he just jumps out the window, and they're like, nobody told him about the elevator, did
Fly
they?
Guy says, nobody told him about the elevator?
Yeah.
And also, by the way, Fly Guy has shown up in what are stylish clothes for the time.
Mm-hmm.
So he's finally spent the time to learn how to dress in modern society,
Yep.
which I think was a pretty good detail.
Yeah.
He's wearing a really, really, really sharp suit.
Yeah.
It's shiny.
Yeah,
I like it. I think shiny suit should come back.
absolutely.
Yep. But then they get outside, and it's like the mom is reunited with Bernie Casey, who's like, all right, let's get back together. And then
Which is weird because he just does that to deflect her getting mad at Keenan Ivory Wayans for locking her in the storage closet. He's like, no, that was my idea because I wanted you safe because I love you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But Keenan has KRS-One and Boogie Down Productions to do his theme song to follow him so he can be a
Right.
true black hero. Which is a Stargrove.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only the first verse. That's the only part of it that
Yeah.
makes it a Stargrove, but it does directly describe things that happen in the movie. So
Yep.
That's the sound of the grove.
Yep. Stargrove, that is.
Yep.
Yeah. Then we've got credits over KRS-One rapping about
Jack the Spade.
Yeah, Jack Spade. And there is a post-credit scene,
There is.
which is Steve James showing up at the scene where everyone was. Like
He's
at
crawling on the ground, still like ripped to shreds,
Mm-hmm.
bloody as all get out.
Yeah, but it's like daytime now. It's
Right.
like 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And he
there's-
like claws his hand up onto a cop. He's like, "Tell Slade I'm here."
It wasn't even, it was like a security guard. It was
Yeah,
like everybody,
something like
it was
that.
so long gone that
Yeah,
it was like,
it
it's,
was
it's like the Ferris
abandoned.
Bueller. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, dude, they're gone. The movie's over. I mean, you should have might as well have said that.
yeah. And they just like, can you call me a cab?
They also said Isaac Hayes was alive too. He just had minor injuries. Basically,
Oh.
everyone who died was like
Yeah.
fine,
Not dead.
Yeah.
And
just like Tiny Tim.
I think Steve James says like, "Hey, brother, can you spare a Band-Aid?"
Oh, yeah, that's
when
right.
the guy's
yeah.
walking
Yep.
away, something like that.
Yeah, he does ask me as a Band-Aid.
Well, he un-kung fu's himself for a minute. He's just like, shit.
Yeah.
Brother, can you spare a Band-Aid? And
Mm-hmm.
that's where the movie ends. And then this is the part where we rate it,
Yeah.
as explained in the opening
Yeah,
monologue.
I'm ready.
go for it.
4 Jocks. I love this. I've seen it before. But I
Yeah.
was very young when I saw it, so I didn't understand, like,
Half the references they were making.
I didn't understand 10% of the references. I just thought it was a funny movie because it's a funny movie. Like, it's obviously parody, but the jokes are good if you don't really know what you're looking at. The jokes are way better if you are connoisseurs of the genre like we are. Yeah, just outstanding. It's if there weren't so many things that, like, there are a fair amount of jokes that fall flat. The whole, like, People's Liberation Army thing. A large part of that is a pretty wet fart.
Yeah.
So that takes a lot out of the movie as a whole. If it had just kept rolling with the good jokes, I think it could have made its way to 5 Jocks. But I laughed out loud quite a number of times. It's good.
Yep.
When a comedy hits, it hits for us. So
We mentioned Clarence Williams. I mean, as far as like people, notable that guys. I mean, he's been around for a billion times. We didn't mention that John Witherspoon is also in this too, in a small
Yeah, that's
part.
right.
He's
the priest in the beginning.
or preacher. Yeah. Thought he was a priest, but
Preacher.
I think he was probably down with fucking. But yeah, but yeah, I just saying like another. It's one of those things. Like, I mean, they're remotely nothing alike, but they have played equally similar goofy roles that I occasionally have to remember who is in which funny thing because they both have done their like weird things like that.
Yeah.
Like Friday and Half Baked and whatnot. So anyway, okay. So while I'm talking about things that I've, what's the word? Conflagrated. I put things together in my. That's set things on fire. Conflated. Yeah. Like I've always conflated jokes between this and Don't Be a Menace in my head.
Same.
And I don't like. It's been a long time since I've seen this, so I don't know why, but it was like I still like this, but I think there were like things I was expecting, and now I'm disappointed that I didn't see them. But that's my own fault, so that's stupid. But there were gags I was.
What were you expecting? Like the mail truck with the nuclear warhead, or?
I think it's just. I thought I remembered the. Instead of the mom kicking ass, because it's the grandma that kicks ass in that, right?
Yes.
And I just remember like the grandma that just whips ass, and I don't know why I thought it was in this movie, but yeah, now I'm clearly remembering that was also like Marlon Wayans. I think gets his ass beat.
Yeah.
But
Don't
anyway.
Be a Menace was 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a
it's
good
like
number of years
93 or
later,
94.
but, yeah.
I think I have an easier time keeping those separate in my head because they are so different. Like,
Sure, yeah.
like Don't Be a Menace is so deeply ingrained, or like
96.
rap culture is so deeply ingrained in it, and this is not really.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of rap
Well,
culture.
I mean, that was
to this.
it was the spoof to the second era of blaxploitation that we didn't call a blaxploitation era, but the
Right.
Boys in the Hood started the whole like, oh what, like neo gangster film, if you will, gangsta film, if you will. But yeah, I'm just saying like that was an era that and a series of movies that there was a whole bunch of for a while, and it was rife for the parodying. But yeah, I guess having said all that, three jokes. I was like sitting at 2, but yeah, there's a couple like I'm gonna reward the comedy aspect. Like there are a couple jokes that like really work, and that's the mark of a good comedy. Just having something that just really
The mark of a good comedy is good jokes.
yeah. Just I mean like you just gotta have like it doesn't have to be all winners. You just gotta have something that's like that's good.
The Bernie Casey exploding while he's repelling is just
It's framed really well. Everything about it's good.
fucking fantastic bit.
I think it's just the fact that like you got Marlon Wayans sitting up front and just like not reacting. I mean, he's like literally sitting there like polishing that weird comically huge gun thing he had, and it's just like no flinch whatsoever while an explosion is happening. And it's pumped up in the soundtrack enough that it's like they clearly should have heard that. In fact, it's right outside the window.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a huge explosion. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm like you. I think I was at 2, but I think I'm going 3, especially for Steve James. For me, like that was the funniest stuff. But there were a lot of jokes where we like we were straight up dying. Like her singing when the Saints go marching in, it just with
funnier
this
and
just
funnier.
insane intensity on the on the stage was really working for me as well.
Yeah. Well, because that's not a stage singing song. That's a marching song because it has literally 2 fucking lines, and you're supposed to hear those 2 lines and be gone.
Yep.
It's not keep doing them over and over again.
Yep. It's good. But yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot more jokes hit than I was expecting to hit. I think is probably the best way to put it because it starts out and it's kind of like,
Yeah,
I don't know if this is gonna.
I was scared
work.
with that first gag, with the gold gag. I was like,
Yeah.
oh no. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I just
and-
parody things like that hit badly or just really bad to me for some reason.
Yeah, and it's weird in that like I feel like when we were watching it, it didn't feel as broad as it actually is comedy wise. But now that we're like talking back about a lot of stuff, it's like, yeah, it's pretty goofy.
Yeah.
You know, now that we've talked through it, I think like I'm like, wait a minute, I guess I was wrong at the beginning of this episode, but I mean, it's solid. I'm going 3 jocks.
All right.
Solid.
You're wrong, but okay.
Yeah, only one jock of wrong.
One jock. What's a jock?
Sorry, 1 jocks
There
of
you go.
wrong. Worth of wrong.
Yeah. Thus ends Blaxploitation History Month for the year 2023 of our and/or your chosen lord.
Well, that's not entirely true, depending on what lord you choose. The year may be totally different. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Anyway,
Look, I'm just trying to be
All
inclusive.
right,
here.
all right.
I'm just trying to be inclusive. Next year's going to be interesting because we are kind of out of blaxploitation movies. We are reviewing
As far as 70s ones go.
as far as 70s ones, yeah, obviously, like we mentioned a couple weeks ago. But we are looking into options of what other stuff is out there. If you have suggestions on something that we've missed and should definitely cover, please hit us up, BMF at BMFcast.com, or give us a call on the Garfield phone, 910-5-JOCKS-BMF or 910-556-9263.
And just keep in mind, there is one keyword. If it shows up, we're not going to do the movie. So
Yeah.
just know that. And it shows up a lot in blaxploitation, which is kind of
Yeah.
why we're running out at this point.
just because there may be listeners out there who have done this homework, I am not afraid to do it myself, but I tend to overdo. So if you've already done this and you can answer this, I am curious. As I mentioned, the second wave of blaxploitation history films, the neo gangsta verse, if you will, is there something in that realm that you think qualifies as being made like a blaxploitation history movie? Because I was thinking about that with how many there were made. I'm wondering if there's any that like are toned to fit more like a 70s movie and feel less like a 90s movie because when they would have been made. So I mean, Lost Boys in the Hood, I think it was 89 or was it 90?
I think it was like 91.
Was it that late? Okay.
Yeah, it was.
All right.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, but let us know. Let us know what you think. And if you want to hop into the Discord with us, check on our Twitter. I think you can just search at BMFcast Discord and find a link to our Discord. It might be on the website too. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the website in a week. But yeah, get with us, hang out in the Discord, talk to us about all the various things we do. You know, we got a bunch of different chats there that are cool. You can hang out with us. I apologize. I will be there less in the future because I will be employed again. So,
I'm employed and I'm still there all the time.
well, yeah, that's because you're like a manager or something, aren't you? Supervisor.
Technically.
Yeah, that's why you have all that free time for Discord.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, speaking of free things, if you have free money in your wallet, you can give some to us to help keep the lights on. Go to patreon.com/BMFcast and leave us a little tippy tip. $1 a month will get you a ton of like a huge backlog of extra content, including stuff like BMFcast Extra and other exciting shows. Check that out. It, like I said, it helps us pay for all the shit we have to pay for, and we appreciate everyone that has contributed so far. Our patrons are the best. And I think that's all I have to say.
Well said.
Thanks.
Cool. Let's get out of here, shall we?
Okay.
I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ, and this is BAMFcast Out, and also my voice out.
Poops.
I sneezed really bad earlier and it wrecked me.
That's where we're at in life.
Mhm.
Injure yourself sleeping or sneezing or sitting up wrong.
I wish I could just injure myself doing fun stuff again.
Yeah,
But I can't do fun stuff because my body will fall apart.
Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to think. 'Cause I mostly remember Boys in the Hood. I don't think we're gonna watch that as a group.
No.
But I mean, like, I was like, New Jack City, Juice. I don't know, like, if any of these are toned in the way that we would want them to be.
I don't think so. I mean, I hate to say that.
Probably not. I mean,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying there might be something out there that was kind of a throwback movie. That it's like, I mean, because there's so many in for a while there.
Yeah.
Bob, I like where your head's at. Would you please, because I will forget this and so will we, would you either email us or if you're in the Discord, pop that in the Discord? Because that's a great idea and it will get lost both in my brain and in the YouTube comments. Or email us or call the Garfield phone or something. That'd be great. Great. I'd appreciate it. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate you.
But yeah, I mean, I'm throwing that one contender in because I just recently rewatched it. And I was like, man, this movie is 70s as hell. Other than what's happening.
Right on. Well, remember it next year.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right, I'm shutting it all down, I guess.
Yeah, I'm ready to go home. My throat, like I said, from that sneeze is fucking...
It really messed you up.
It felt like I was...
Like it popped
like-
something?
Yeah, was... I'm surprised I didn't taste blood. That's how
Jesus.
like rough that sneeze was, for no good reason.
Thanks, Robert.
Thanks, Bob. You're a diamond.
Bye, Bob. Drink.
Drink Ovaltine.